Well, good morning. Today is the 13th of June, and it is the last day of our devotionals. And we finish up we finish up Paul's letter to Titus, chapter 3, verses 12 through 15. With today being the last day of our devotionals, just wanted to recap a couple of little things right quickly. 6 weeks ago, we started this journey into the new normal, exploring what it means to be the church in changing times. Paul has challenged us at times. Perhaps he's offended us at times. Maybe he has even gotten inside of our heads at times. And maybe he's even made us really question how we have always been as the church. Hopefully there's a little of that in all of us as we have started each day with Paul's pastoral epistles. Well, years ago, I remember reading of a man who was wandering through the desert. Having consumed all of his provisions, he found himself in need of water, but of course, it was not easy to come by in the desert. Finally, he saw in the distance a palm tree. At first, he thought it may have been a mirage. Even so, he decided to check it out. There, beneath the tree, there was an old hand water pump. You know, the kind that you pump and prime, and he walked up to the water pump, and he discovered that hanging on the pump was a container full of water, and the water looked so good, and he was so thirsty. Above the pump there was a sign which read, "The water is not for you to drink. It is for you to prime the pump. Once you have primed the pump, fill the container for the next person. After filling the container, feel free to drink your fill." Well, he was faced with a tough decision. He was at a point of exhaustion in his life, and thirst was greater than he had ever known it. All he had to do was go on and drink the water, but the sign said not to, and that's all he had to go on. What if he poured all the water into the pump and the pump wouldn't work? What if the well was dry and the only water he could find was that which was hanging on the pump? Could he trust the words on the sign? With his fading strength and shaky hands, he slowly poured the water into the pump, and he started pumping the handle. The old rusty pump squeaked and moved very slowly at first, but then it began to move easier and quieter as the last of the water trickled out of the container into the pump. He could feel something change in the handle, and suddenly water came gushing forth. He filled the container, returned it to its designated place. He then cupped his hands around the pump and drank some of the coolest, sweetest water he had ever tasted. And now, you may want to hit pause so you can go get a glass of water. This little parable addresses, to some degree, just what Paul has been saying throughout the pastoral epistles. Our purpose is to make disciples of Jesus Christ. In order to do that, we must think of ourselves last. Somewhere along the path we travel, there will be another pilgrim in need of that which we have also received. We call it grace. And it is the grace of God that renews our spirit and restores us into a right relationship with the Father. It's our responsibility to make sure that when that pilgrim coming after us gets here, we have left the water for them from the living well. Consider these questions. When is a time, either in these devotionals or another time in your life, in which you have been revived by water from the living well? Question 2. Who do you know who is wandering in a wasteland right now and needs a drink from that very same well? How can you share a drink with them? Question number 3. In all of the readings that we have done on this journey, what is one thing that has stood out to you more than anything else? Well, I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed doing these devotionals and how much I've enjoyed knowing that many of you have been reading them, and I've appreciated the comments that many of you have sent, either by text or email or through the digital text that Stephanie has set up for you to leave on the webpage. I hope it has been rewarding and a beneficial time for you. It's been a great way to close down my time at Seaside, and I thank you for letting me be a part of it. And I thank you so much for the reception that you've given to Gail and me, and for the privilege and the great honor it has been to be called your pastor and to be labeled as one of the Seaside locals for a little while. And I still stand amazed at how much all of you have been able to understand this Bladen County dialect. It just baffles me that we never had to pull in that interpreter. God bless you. Have a great day, and look forward to seeing you again one day soon. Go in peace.